Okay, today is Monday, May 12th, 2025, and today what I got done is mostly just this discussion with the Grok about how to split up my choices. Let's see here. Okay, multiple endings. That's not it. Okay, I think this is it here. Come to a process, right? Identify distinct events. List each distinct event or action in sequence. Assign events to new rooms. Determine choice paths. Have agency, have consequences. Be simple. Craft interesting choices, very outputs, hit stakes, maintain error flow, test and refine. So that's kind of basically the deal, is just basically breaking it up and then adding choices. And I started to do that here. I'll show you what I did just really quick. And it'll probably, I suppose, have an error because I got an extra comma. Yeah, there is a problem there, but it's something I'll fix. But I created two rooms, and I was gonna split these off, but because I have an error, I'll have to fix that later. Anyways, that's pretty much all I got done today. Okay, today is Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, and today I didn't get a whole lot done, but I got a little bit done. So let me show you what I mean. I finally got rid of that bug, and the bug was just that it was saving the extra comma. When I clicked to save the room, it would save an extra comma, and the JSON doesn't read well like that. You have to remove the comma, and you have to make sure there's no extra comma at the end of an object. So I just had to fix that, and that works. But I come up with the new problem, which is it's not really an error per se. It's not like a bug. It's not like something that causes it to crash. But if you notice here, these yellow and red lines are crossed, and that's because of the way it processes it. So it processes Hubert Home first because that's the first in the order. The red one goes to Hubert Home 1, and the yellow one goes to Hubert Home 2. However, because it adds the link, the incoming link first to here, then this is actually first on here. So if I go to that's inbound rooms, and let's see, Hubert Home. See, Hubert Home 1. So it's doing this in the proper order. But in reality, it should be actually the opposite order. Well, if I save it and I reload it, it's just going to go back to the way it was. So it's just going to rewrite like this. It's going to swap it again. So I can't just do that. I have to fix that. But you can see, since Hubert Home incoming is the first one, even though it's the second door, and then Hubert Home 1 is the second one, even though it's its only door. So that's the problem I ran into today. But that's all I got done today. Today is Wednesday, May 14th, 2025, and today what I got done is exactly nothing. Actually, that's not true. What I did actually do is I streamlined the assign inbound rooms function, and actually what I did was I completely redid it in a different way and removed a couple of loops and a couple of checks I didn't need, and so now it's fairly efficient at what it does. And then tomorrow I'll actually work on the cross lines part, which I've already figured out how to do. So that's what I did for today. Today is Thursday, May 15th, 2025, and this is what I got done. Okay, so let's show you the script first, and that is I modify assign inbound rooms to handle crossover. So basically what happens here is it rebuild the inbound rooms arrays for each room. Let's see here. What does this do? Go through the doors, destination room, break. Okay. That's the regular. That's the deal. The thing that I worked on today was step 2, reordering inbound links to favor the parent's x coordinate. So that way, if it's on the left, then it'll rearrange the inbound links so that stays on the side that it's on. And then I also did the exact same thing with the doors. A little bit different, but it's pretty much the same deal. We sort it by X position, and was that ascending order, descending order. I don't remember. Anyways, from low to high, so that it'll sort the doors depending on where the room is in relation to it. And so what happens is this is what happens to it. See how this is laid out? Okay. So let's say I move this over like this, and let's say I save the room data. Guess what? Now it's reflecting this side, right? Home 1, home 2, Hubert Home to Hubert Home 2, and then if I take it back over here and save room data again, check it out. It's moved over. So now none of the lines cross over, which is perfect. So now I can kind of build, I can build this out the way I want to build it out. Of course, still straight up I have to kind of like see the lines don't cross at all, but they do still like overlap and stuff. But this is good. So this is what I got done for today, and tomorrow I'll get to actually start back on working back on the game. Today is Friday, May 16th, 2025, and today I did not get a whole lot. Partly I got a slow start today. It just, I just couldn't get going, and then when I did, I started talking about certain things, story things. Maybe you might find it interesting. Although I did kind of figure some things out because the wizard Hubert is searching for a way. He wants to bring some outside help to help him figure out the mystery of why Enchanted Lands has fallen on a hard time. And so he goes to his crystal ball, and he's got three options to choose from. Which John Thomas is our main guy, so he's going to be the character that we stick with. But I wanted to kind of do a little bit of a few like in jokes or cameo or however you want to say it, like Easter egg cameo kind of thing. And so one of the characters in the crystal ball that Hubert sees is none other than Daniel LaRusso from The Karate Kid. And I actually had Grok like kind of come up with like a small backstory for Daniel LaRusso because it's not really told in any of the Karate Kid media. But I just wanted something that I could think of why it would be considered as a candidate to help Hubert out. And so I kind of figured that out, and I figured he'd be a good one to put in there. And then Grok came up with alluding to Harry Potter. And I thought about that for a second. I went, Hubert's original name was Harold, and his last name rhymes with, Broder or Trotter or something like that, alluding to the fact that Harold's last name is also Potter and that he changed it for copyright reasons. And that was going to be kind of an in joke, after realizing that Harold and Harry are this kind of the same name. They're both wizards. That's the only similarities. I didn't like copy Harry Potter in my mind. I was thinking of the classic, Gandalf style wizard or, Merlin from Sword in the Stone or, that sort of thing. But I named it Harold, and then I decided I was going to take that away because it sounded dumb for a while. In fact, he calls himself Halfway Harold because he's only got half of his magic because it's part of the story anyways. So I was thinking, you know what? Harry Potter could be another hint. In fact, Hubert, if I return back to Harold, Harold could say, notice how Harry has the same exact name as him, and he's also a wizard. But then some joke about he wouldn't undignify his name by shortening it to Harry or something. Some deal the reason why it's Harold and not Harry, just to give you an idea without being explicit about the names and stuff. But you can clearly tell what it is through the description, and so that's I think what I'm going to do for the two other candidates. So it's going to be Harry and Daniel are going to be the two candidates, and it's kind of interesting because through the discussion I got the impression that I was kind of going, well, Harry Potter, he's loyal and he's shy, but later on he's not shy, right? But he's kind of a loner and stuff, and some of the stuff kind of fits with John's character, but it's mostly his earlier life. When he's kid living with the Dursleys or whatever, and then he kind of outgrows. He becomes more extrovert. He's not shy at all. Has romantic interests and stuff. And my character is shy and awkward and hasn't really had any experience with women. And he's a loner. He's into fantasy. Daniel LaRusso is not into fantasy at all. There's no illusion of that because the character was created to be realistic. Right, like a real teenager on his move from New Jersey to California, and so I figure that's pretty good because he doesn't align with the kind of the thing about the daydreaming and stuff, So he's a very realistic character, and he maybe embodies some of the traits that I set forth in there for an assistant for Hubert or Harold if I decide to go back to Harold. And then Harry Potter is his reality is that he's a magician, and John Thomas is only into fantasy, drawing dragons and reading books, and well, drawing dragons thing that was Grok's deal, but the idea is that he's into fantasy, and John lives in our world, and so the magic isn't part of his deal. So my character, John Thomas, actually does kind of fit in between the two characters. They're sort of the two extremes, sort of. Not exactly. Daniel, much less so, because he's grounded in reality a lot more than either of the other two characters. But I can use it as a way to kind of show the player that John Thomas is like the perfect guy to help Hubert or Harold. So I'm thinking about going back to Harold with that. So anyways, even though I didn't actually physically get stuff done, I did kind of solidify what I wanted to use. And so on Monday, when I start doing stuff on Monday, I'm going to incorporate. In fact, why don't I just do something here? Let's do this. 3 likely candidates: Daniel, John, and Harry. We'll do it like that. And in fact, I'll go ahead and save it. I'll go ahead and save this so everything is saved. And that's what I got for today.